today. Today I'm going to discuss the energy balance in the CSTR in the second part. Actually, I have discussed the energy balance in CSTR in my first lecture. Okay, hope so you all have understood that topics very clearly. Today I am going to discuss about the bimolecular reaction. In my previous lecture, I have discussed about the unimolecular reaction only. Today I am going to discuss about the bimolecular reaction. So try to understand about the bimolecular reaction, how the outlet temperature is going to be calculated. Okay, just try to understand now. Before going to discuss about the outlet temperature, I am going to discuss some points about the enthalpy balance. Try to understand the concept of enthalpy. If the reaction A is getting converted into product, okay, any order, the reaction order may be anything, you don't have to panic about that. Only you have to understand how enthalpy is going to be varied. So if you will see the enthalpy of reaction, if you want to calculate the enthalpy of reaction, if you have if you will recognize your class 12, then you will understand there you have studied the thermodynamics, and you have studied various types of enthalpy of reaction, just like enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of combustion, enthalpy of neutralization, enthalpy of sublimation, all these things. But here only we have to focus on the enthalpy of formation, because here they are not going to ask about the what is the enthalpy of neutralization, what is enthalpy of combustion. Here they are just going to judge you how you can calculate the enthalpy of reaction, and after that you have to apply this concept in the chemical reaction engineering. Okay, so if you will calculate the enthalpy of reaction, I will be denoting these things with the help of H naught R, and if I am writing here that is equals to H naught R, that means it is a standard enthalpy of reaction, my dear student. It is a standard enthalpy of reaction. Okay, so now understand one thing, how we can define the enthalpy of reaction. If you want to write the enthalpy of reaction, then you can write enthalpy of product, enthalpy of product minus of enthalpy of reactant. That thing you have to keep in mind. If it is given as enthalpy of formation, then each and every time you have to write enthalpy of product. And here if I have written here a standard enthalpy of formation reaction, then here that will be also a standard enthalpy of product minus a standard enthalpy of reactant. Okay, I think it's very clear to all of you. Now understand one thing, why I am telling you the standard enthalpy of reaction. The reason behind that, if you are going to calculate the enthalpy of reaction at temperature is equals to 25 degrees centigrade, that means you can say it as 298 Kelvin, then it is called as the standard enthalpy of reaction. Okay, now because enthalpy is not an absolute quantity, because you can calculate the enthalpy of any reactant or any product or any substance with respect to some reference. Okay, that's why I am assuming the enthalpy of a standard enthalpy of reaction of a particular substance at 298 Kelvin. If you know the enthalpy of a substance at 298 Kelvin, then you will be able to calculate the enthalpy of substance at a particular temperature. So in this lecture I will be discussing that thing. Now understand, if here in this reaction, the reaction that is written over on the screen, if you have to calculate the standard enthalpy of reaction, that will be equals to what? So here you can write enthalpy of H naught of P minus of H naught of A. Means here P is product and A is reactant. In this way you have to understand enthalpy of reaction. This will be your standard enthalpy of reaction, my dear student. If you will subtract the enthalpy of product minus enthalpy of reactant. Now understand one thing, how it is going to be vary. If this is enthalpy and this is a reaction coordinate, this is a reaction coordinate. Now understand one thing, if our reactant is A and our product is P. Now from the graph you can understand the enthalpy of product is more as compared to enthalpy of reactants. Means you can see from this graph enthalpy of product is greater than enthalpy of reactant. So it's very convenient here. What will happen? So here H naught of product, you can write either EP. So I am writing here again, H of P is greater than H of A. So if you will subtract H of P minus H of A, then it will become positive. It will become positive. My dear student, if enthalpy of reaction comes to be positive, then that reaction will be called as the endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Why we used to call it as endothermic reaction? The reason behind that is, if enthalpy of reaction comes to be positive, then it will be called as the endothermic reaction. And in endothermic reaction, it's very convenient that the product enthalpy must be greater than the enthalpy of the reactant. Okay, I think it's very clear to all of you. Now, understand how will we call it as the enthalpy of exothermic reaction. In case of exothermic reaction, my dear student, you will see what will happen. The graph will be like that. If this is a reaction coordinate, this is a reaction coordinate, and this is a enthalpy H, then in that condition what will happen? If you will see, the graph will be like that. This is our A and this is our product P. Here you can see that directly from the graph, the enthalpy of product that is less than that as compared to the enthalpy of reactant. So here if you will write the enthalpy of reaction delta, I am assuming a standard enthalpy of reaction delta H naught of R, that is equals to enthalpy of product minus enthalpy of reactant. Here what you will see, enthalpy of product that is less than enthalpy of reactant A. So in that condition, if you will subtract this thing, then it will come as a negative. So if for any particular reaction enthalpy of reaction is less than 0, that is comes to be negative, then that reaction is called as the exothermic reaction. That reaction is called as the exothermic reaction. I think it's very clear to all of you. You all have studied in class 12 standard. I don't need to discuss so many things here. Okay, now try to understand how we are going to use this types of concept in the relevant topic that we are going to study here. Now you know the enthalpy of a standard enthalpy of reaction delta H naught of R. This is your standard enthalpy of reaction. You know this thing. Okay, at a particular temperature you have to calculate the enthalpy. If they are going to give you to calculate the enthalpy of reaction at a particular temperature, how will you calculate? Because here this is going to be calculated at 298 Kelvin. Okay, I think there is no any misconception about this concept, because 200 delta H naught of R is a standard enthalpy of reaction. Now, if enthalpy of reaction is a function of temperature, if enthalpy of reaction, here I am writing, if delta H of R that is a function of temperature, means if it is going to be vary, because GATE is not going to give you the straight question, it will be varying. So how will we calculate? Just I am assuming a reaction A is getting converted into P. Okay, now understand, I am assuming heat capacity of A is equals to Cp of A, and heat capacity of P is equals to Cp of P. I think it's clear to all of you. Now understand how we used to calculate. So if you want to calculate the standard enthalpy of reaction at any particular temperature, H of R at any particular temperature, that is equals to delta of H naught of R plus integral over delta of Cp dt T1 to T2. Means if enthalpy of reaction is going to vary from temperature T1 to T2, means if you know the temperature 298 Kelvin as your T1 temperature, then from here you can calculate at a particular temperature T2, and that will be equal to the enthalpy of reaction at temperature T2. I think it's very clear to all of you. How will we calculate? So how will we calculate the delta of Cp? You don't have to do anything. It's very easy. You just put Cp, heat capacity of product P, minus heat capacity of reactant A, and that is equals to Cp of delta of Cp, and just substitute these things in this formula, and from there you can calculate the value of T1 to T2. It's a very easy thing, my dear student. You don't have to be panic about that. It may be the calculation will become very tedious, but GATE won't be asking any question that will take more than 2 minutes or more than 3 minutes. Okay, so it will be very simple. Now understand one thing: if Cp is a function of temperature, if Cp is a function of temperature, if Cp is given A plus Bt, Cp is given A plus Bt, then what you have to do, again in that condition you will be substituting these things here also in this way, and then you will be calculating in that way. Okay, so I think it's very clear to all of you now. Now understand one thing: how will we calculate Cp average? Only I am telling you, okay, how will we calculate Cp average? If Cp is function of temperature, then you have to calculate Cp average, that is equals to integral over Cp dt T1 to T2. This will be your Cp average, I think. Okay, Cp average is equals to integral over T1 to T2 Cp dt upon T2 minus T1. This will be your Cp average. Okay. Now next thing I am coming to our main part, that is our energy balance in CSTR. Okay, energy balance in CSTR. That's major thing that we have to study here. Now try to understand, if this is our CSTR, if reactant is going to be enter and product is coming to the outside, if temperature of the reaction mixture is T, if T naught is the inlet temperature, I am talking about the adiabatic CSTR, then in that condition what you need to do, in my previous lecture what I have told you, you don't have to do anything. Fi naught Cp of A, if inlet flow rate of reactant A is Fi naught, and if reaction is taking place, A is getting converted into P having rate constant is K. These types of reaction is taking place here, then what you need to do, that is equals to T naught minus T plus minus of delta H naught of R into minus of Ra into V, and that is equals to 0. This will be the second derivation for our CSTR. Why? Because this is the amount of energy that is going to be in, and this is the amount of energy that is going to be generated, okay, inside the reactor. Okay, so that's why I have taken it that one. So this is called as energy in, and this is energy generation or consumption. Now one question arises here, you will tell me, sir, here there is no any term that is going to be out, because there must be an energy outlet term. So general, if you will write the general energy balance, if you want to write general you can write it in this way: energy in minus energy out plus minus generation or consumption plus minus Q plus W dot is equals to 0. This is our general basic, the equation of our energy balance in CSTR. Here generation consumption term, why I have written, if in a reaction is exothermic and if reaction is endothermic, that depends on the situation. Okay, so each and every time here you have to take positive sign, because magnitude I have taken here, You just substitute magnitude here and there must be a negative sign here. Okay, so you don't have to be panic about that. Now understand one thing, how it is going to be converted. This reaction, how we will convert. If you will see the material valence in CSTR, how we used to calculate. So V upon V naught is equals to CA naught XA upon minus of RA. And this RA at exit condition, that each and every time you have to understand at exit condition, my dear student. If you are taking at inlet, then it will become 0. That you need to be focused. Now understand one thing. From here, what you need to do, you have to calculate the value of minus of RA into V, that is equals to C naught V naught into XA. CA naught VA naught into XA. I think it's clear to all of you now. Understand one thing. So if you will see this term, we used to call this term as minus RA into V, that is equals to FA naught into XA. This is our this term we have calculated from material valence. Now if you will substitute this term in this derivation, then you will be getting what? FA naught of Cp of A T naught minus T plus minus of delta of H naught of R and minus R into V, that we have calculated from material valence. You can substitute here directly FA naught into XA, and that is equals to 0. That is our desired equation for our energy balance in continuous state and reactor microreactor. It's a very important thing that you need to keep in your mind each and every time. If you are going to forget these things, then definitely question you are unable to solve. You won't be able to solve the questions in the examination, I think. Okay. Now understand one thing. There is another term. Which types of question that you will be asked in the GATE examination? Try to understand. Sometimes they will give you the condition of a non-adiabatic reactor. If the CSTR, that is non-adiabatic, so here they will be supplying heat from this coolant. A stream or coolant will be flowing in this particular helical coil, and they will be supplying energy. The overall heat transfer coefficient of the coil is U, and overall heat transfer area is A. Heat transfer area is A. Try to understand one thing, my dear friend. Now, what is happening here? Try to understand. If they will be asking sometimes, if this is our inlet flow rate Fi naught and T naught is the inlet temperature, and if you are going to assume T is the temperature inside the reactor, okay, and the temperature outside the reactor must be 3. So how it's go? Sometimes they will be telling you ki you just calculate the temperature of or the time required for a particular to get or time required to achieve the temperature of 90 degree inside the reactor. Means they will be asking about the temperature inside the reactor. That will be calculate the temperature inside the reactor, that is a function of time. How? In this way. So what you need to do, just try to focus here. What I have told you, it's a very simple thing. Just apply the energy balance. You will see Fi naught Cp of A. Generally, I am assuming it reaction is taking place inside the reactor is getting converted into product, and the rate constant of the reaction is K. Okay, and reaction is first order kinetics. It is following first order. If this is following first order kinetics only. Now understand one thing. This will be T naught minus T plus what I have told you, that you have to substitute minus of Ra into V into minus of delta of H naught R. I am assuming rate enthalpy of reaction is not a function of temperature here. Okay, enthalpy of reaction is constant. Delta H naught of R, that is not a function of temperature. It will be constant. Okay, that you need to understand now. Try to understand what I am going to tell you. Plus UA delta U A, and here if the inlet coil temperature is here Tc, so what you need to do, that is equals to Tc minus of T, that is equals to 0, because CSTR generally used to operate in the steady state condition. That's why there won't be any accumulation term, because each and every time we are continuously taking the product out. So there won't be any accumulation, okay? Because if I note inside the inlet of the reactor, volumetric flow rate is V naught is here is equals to volumetric flow rate here. Okay. Now understand one thing, what's happening here. If they are telling you that if the inlet temperature, if the inlet temperature is equals to the outlet temperature also. If the inlet temperature of the reactant means inside the reactor, that is equals to T naught, that is equals to T. T naught is equals to T, means that is taking place in isothermal condition. Here only we are going to supply the heat from this particular thing. Then what will happen if this term will become 0? If this term will become 0, then what will happen? Minus of Ra into V into minus of delta of H naught R, that is equals to UA T minus Tc. Means they are asking about to calculate the coil temperature after a particular time. Means how you have to do. Here the reaction which is taking place inside the reactor is CSTR. So you can write it minus of Ra is equals to minus of dCA by dt is equals to Kca. So from here you can calculate Ca is equals to Ca naught into e to the power minus of Kt. Just you need to focus here. Ca is equals to Ca naught into e to the power minus Kt, and just substitute here. Then you will be getting Kca naught into e to the power minus of Kt into V into minus of delta H naught of R, that is equals to UA T minus of Tc. So my dear student, now from here you can see this is a function of time and this is function of temperature. So now you can see this temperature is going to be vary with respect to time. Means temperature at a particular time, how much amount of temperature will be attained inside the reactor after due to the reaction, chemical reaction which is taking place inside the CSTR. You can calculate it very easily from this particular data. So one GATE has asked the numerical on this topic also. So you need to focus. It's a very important thing for the GATE point of view. Now understand one thing. Another data, another topics that is going to be left here, that I am going to discuss here, about if the reaction is bimolecular reaction, because sometimes you will get confused if the reaction is bimolecular. If the reaction is bimolecular, it's a very easy thing. You don't have to do anything. Just simple. Just A plus B is getting converted into product, and this is an elementary reaction. Bimolecular elementary reaction. Try to understand one thing. If this is our CSTR, if this is our CSTR, here A will be also going to be enter and B will be also going to be enter. So if FA naught is equals to FV naught is equals to F naught, I am assuming the molar flow rate of A and B is equals. Both reactant will be going to be enter and there must be a product that is going to come out from the reactor, and reactor is taking place in the adiabatic condition. I am assuming it adiabatic CSTR. Then how will you perform the material balance? Only you have to focus on the material balance itself, not anything else. So what you have to do? FA naught Cp of A T naught minus T plus FB naught Cp of B T naught minus T plus minus of delta H naught of R into Fa naught XA, that is equals to 0. It's a very important derivation because most of the time these types of numerical is going to be asked. They will be asking about the bimolecular reaction. What a student used to do, just do the mistake in the examination, just try to understand. Most of the students do mistakes here itself. Fa naught XA. Why I am taking here Fa naught XA? Because if you will see, if reaction is going to take place, A plus B is getting converted into C or P product P, okay, and the outlet temperature of product is T, that, and the temperature inside the reactor will be also T. Okay, so if A is our limiting reagent, A is our limiting reagent, that's why I have written here Fa naught XA, because limiting reagent are the reagent which is getting consumed inside the in the reaction first. First limiting reagent will get consumed 100%. So if limiting reagent is getting consumed 100%, then there won't be any reaction taking place. So there won't be any temperature increase or decrease inside the reactor, either that is exothermic or endothermic reaction. Okay. So if that energy balance will also depends on the limiting reagent, because limiting reagent is going to take part in the chemical reaction up to its the limiting value, means you can say it 100% conversion. If limiting reagent is getting converted into 100%, then reaction won't be taking place after that. Okay, that's why here we will be assuming about the limiting reagent. If B will be limiting reagent, then we will be writing here FB naught XB. Okay. So now understand one thing. Here I have assumed Fa naught is equals to FB naught. So you can write it as F naught, and if CPA of CP of P is equal, generally I am just again making the derivation part short, because assuming everything same, CP of F naught CPA, I am just assuming CP of A is equals to CP of B is equals to CP. Okay, so the derivation will become very short here, that's why I am assuming it. And both the reactant is going to enter at same temperature T naught. If the temperature of reactant A, both the reactant entering at same temperature, if both the reactant is going to be enter at same temperature, then what will happen? 2 into F naught Cp naught of T naught minus T plus minus of delta of H naught of R into Fa naught XA, that is equals to 0. That will be the derivation. Because there are so many approximation, if you will apply your mind, then definitely you will, make the calculation very less. That depends on your mind, whether you are going to use your mind or not. Because if the reactant is going to enter at same temperature, so then you don't need to write that much. If the heat capacity of both the reactant is same, if the molar flow rate of both the reactant is same, then you don't need to do anything here. Okay? Otherwise, if everything is different, FB naught is given, Fa naught is given, Cp of A is given, Cp of B is given, if T naught of reactant A is entering at T naught, and it may be possible reactant B is entering at T naught 2 temperature, then you need to substitute here that thing. Okay, and after that you have to calculate. Now second thing is that what you need to do, just focus on the part Cp and delta H naught of R. If this is given in the watt, then and if this is given in the calorie, just convert it into joule, because watt is equals to what? Joule per second. So you need to focus here also Cp and delta H naught of. If it is in joule and if it is in kilowatt, then convert it into watt. Okay. So unit will play a very crucial role here. So Just don't need to get interrupted or stuck in the unit part, because it's very important. Because in the examination, due to use pressure, you may forget that thing. Okay, so just get stick to the unit part also. You don't have to do wrong on the unit part. Now understand one thing: the different thing that we are going to see here. Only I am going to discuss about CSTR here only and nothing else. Now, understand one thing. Finally, if you will see if a reaction A is getting converted into B. So, if here this is the first order kinetics and this is our elementary reaction by single molecule is there A. Now, understand one thing. What is happening here? If this is our CSTR, here A is going to be enter at a molar flow rate of Fa node and temperature is T. And here if it is going to be out at a temperature T, here the temperature is also T. Then finally what will you see? Here you will see Fa node Cp of A T node minus T minus Fb of, here Fb, just try to understand. You will be thinking the product must be coming out from the reactor. If product is coming out from the reactor, if temperature this is T also, then definitely it will becomes T minus T, that is equals to 0. So you don't write to these things. Okay, you don't write to these things. Plus minus of delta of H naught of R into Fa naught XA, that is equals to 0. Now, my dear student, what used to happen? Sometimes they used to calculate the volume of the reactor from this condition. So, how will you calculate? First thing, if temperature T naught is given, if T is given, first of all, what you need to do? If you will calculate T is equals to T naught plus minus of delta of H naught of R Fa naught XA upon what? Fa naught of Cp of A. These things you will get from this particular derivation. That is very important thing that you need to remember. If you are not going to remember, then if you have remembered these things, then the thing becomes very easy. For every, this is applicable for only this particular reaction. If the reaction will be going to be changed, if bimolecular reaction will be there, then you need to be focused on the energy balance thoroughly. Now understand one thing, what's happening here. If they have given these things, and sometimes they will be telling you calculate the conversion of the reactant after a particular temperature T, or sometimes they will tell you for achieving 80% conversion how much amount of temperature is required, or sometimes they will be telling you how much inlet flow rate of reactant is required to achieve the conversion of 90% at an exit temperature of temperature T for a particular reactant A. So there are so many types of questions that is going to be asked here. Only you need to get a set on your the basic things on the metal energy balance. Okay. Now again another thing that I am going to discuss, if the reactant A is going to be enter at concentration Ca0, and if concentration at exit is Ca, if volume of the reactor is V, and if V naught is the molar flow rate, volumetric flow rate of the reactant, then how the metal balance is going to be performed here? If you will see, then you can calculate Ca naught, this is inlet flow rate, Ca naught into V naught minus reactant is going to be out with the volumetric flow rate of V naught minus of Ra into V, that is equals to 0, because CSTR will be operating at a steady state condition. That's why there won't be any accumulation curve. Now understand one thing, my dear student. What is happening here? You can calculate. Sorry, this will be plus. Sorry, here this will be minus. This will be minus. Now understand one thing. What will you see? V upon V naught is equals to Ca naught minus Ca upon of minus of Ra. If you want to proceed further, then you can calculate V upon V naught, that is equals to Ca naught Xa upon of minus of Ra. So there are so many things, and now you can use these things from here also, because if you have to calculate, if they have not given conversion, if they have given these things, all these things, you can calculate the value of conversion from here, and after this one you can calculate the outlet temperature T at a particular conversion. Okay, so from here this all the question you can solve from the continuous state tank reactor, I think. Okay, so thanks to all of you for this lecture. In the next lecture I will be discussing about plug flow reactor, the energy balance in plug flow reactor. Okay, so thanks to all of you.